All right, great. So how did you practice in the last session go? I believe now you're proud of yourself. You've really mastered the fundamentals that you covered in the previous, the first package in this course. And I'm very, very excited today because we're diving into a new package, and you're going to master how to work with Microsoft Word and create any document that you want using a computer, right? And so I believe that you are excited as I am as we dive into this new package. So I want you to come full force. I want you to really bring on board your concentration. I want you to focus, and I really want you to dive in together with me and let's master these skills. They're very simple, right? But they add a ton of value in your life. They'll make your life easier. They'll make you more productive in the office or when you're doing your own documents. Think about it. You never have to get a secretary if you are someone working in an office as secretary to do some of these things. You will never have to reach out to someone to do some of these things. I'm giving you total control. You will be able to create any document that you want, text or document, of course, using Microsoft Word for yourself, right? So I'm giving you total control. I'm giving you freedom. This course is very, very important. So let's just dive in and let's get started. So before we do it, let's do a couple of things. Number one, remember how I told you that I prefer a very clean desktop? So I think we're going to first of all get rid of all these icons here, all right, on the screen. But before we even do that, we're gonna need to make them smaller. Okay, for me they look very big. I don't want them this big. So right click. By the way, it's just a refresher. You'll be able to just refreshing your mind on what you did. Right click, I go to view, and then I make them small icons. All right, and then I right click again, and then and by the way, let me show you something before we even dive in as we clean up our desktop. You notice they are scattered, right? Notice how they are scattered here like this. If you want them to get them squeezed together or arranged in a given order based either on what the program is or based on their names or size, you can do that. So just right click, go to view, and then actually go to sort by, not view, go to sort by. Then you can have them sorted by name, right? Or you can have them sorted by size or the type of program they are or the date. So just click name, right? And notice now they are squeezed together, all right? And they are arranged based on their names. You can see Firefox, F, and another F here. You can see M, N, as basically arranged based on their names, right? Now I want to wipe them out from my desktop. I don't need them on the desktop. I want a very clean desktop. That is me. So I right click, I go to view, and I get rid of them. So I cross over here, I come down, and I click show desktop. I deactivate it, and they are gone. Now I have a very clean desktop, which is what I love. Let's now dive into the new package. Now, Microsoft Word, it's one of the Microsoft Office suite packages. When you buy Microsoft Office, it comes with a bunch of or a set of standard packages. It comes with Microsoft Word. There are normally actually five of them. It comes with Microsoft Word. It comes with Microsoft Excel, which is one of actually we're going to be covering all those. Microsoft Excel. It comes with Microsoft Access. It comes with Publisher, and it comes with what other PowerPoint. Okay, so it's a suite of five packages: Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Publisher, Microsoft PowerPoint, and Microsoft Access, Excel, Word, Publisher, PowerPoint. And we're going to be covering all of those, and I'm going to be explaining to you what each one of them does, so you'll be able to use them and take control of your life by doing anything that you want to do with a computer, right? So Microsoft Word is a package that enables you to manipulate textual data, right? Specifically textual data. Now think about if you want to come up with a questionnaire, or if you want to write a letter, or if you want to write a manual, or if you want to type something like a program, or if you think about anything that you want to create, you have to type it. We use Microsoft Word. Oftentimes, most of the typing work is normally done with Microsoft Word. Of course, there are other programs that can do typing work, but majorly, if people are writing a book, they're writing questionnaires or letters or manuals, they use Microsoft Word, and you're going to learn how to do that. So how do you load the program? A number of ways. Number one, you just come down here and you type Microsoft Word, and it should appear here. All right, so here it is, Microsoft Word 2010. So just click it. Now when you click it, you launch it and you give it time. Launching means you are starting it. You give it time, it's going to load, and here we are. So this is the window that you get. Allow me to close this. This one comes up on your screen, just click close. So this is the window that we get when we load this program. Right now, I'm gonna take you through this window, and I'm gonna show you different features and explain what they are and what they do before we get started. All right, let's start here. This is the closing button. If I want to close this program, just click the close button and it will close. And what you have here is the minimizing button, the restore down button. If I click it, it's going to occupy a small portion of my window. All right, we call it restoring. If I click it again, it will maximize it. If I click minimize, it's going to collapse it. But remember, when you collapse it, it doesn't mean you've closed it. It might appear as if it's been closed, but no, it's just been collapsed. So if I click this one, it will collapse it. But it's still here. I didn't close it. All right, it's taken away from my screen, but it's still here. I have not closed it. If I click it here, it's restored back again. All right, so that's why, and that is how you use these buttons here. Now, I think at this point, it's very critical to show you actually why this one is important. Now, let's say I have two documents that I want to compare them back to back, or I want to open all of them and I want to see all of them on the screen at once. So let's open another document still in Word and then see whether we can be able to switch between the two and how to apply the restore. First of all, notice this is document 1. We're going to open another one which will be called document 2. Then you see whether we can display all of them on the screen at once. So I'm going to minimize this one. Then I'll come back here, down here, and then I'm going to type Microsoft Word, and I can click Microsoft Word here and launch it. But this is another way you can do it. Remember how I said Microsoft is one of the suite of programs that come and they are normally packaged within Microsoft Office. So let's see whether we can access that folder called Microsoft Office, because when you open that folder, then you're going to see all those programs there. For some computers, when you type it, it's easy to access. For others, it might not. Let's try in our case. So I'm gonna type Microsoft Office. Let's see that we get our folder by that name, and we are not getting that folder. Okay, let's try a different way. Let's come close here, and all right, let's click all apps. All right, and let's scroll from here. We are looking for a folder by the name Microsoft. Remember, a folder is normally yellow, so we are looking for a yellow folder called Microsoft Office. Inside that folder, that's where you can find Microsoft Word, and it's where you can find Publisher, Access, Excel, PowerPoint. So we're going to scroll. Remember how we learned to use the scroll bar? I'm going to click this button, scroll up. Remember, we are checking here. They are arranged in order A, B, C, D, and you're looking for M, Microsoft Office. So go to scroll, see what we get. We can move very fast because you're looking for M. And here we are, we can see M. And here it is, a folder called Microsoft Office. If I click this folder, it's going to open. You actually use this customer button here. We call it a drop down list button, this one here. So if I click this button, it's going to open up and show me all the packages inside. Let's move it up a little bit. I'm just scrolling using this button. Right. So then I'll click this one. You click it, and here you are. So what can you see? What is inside here? You can see Microsoft Access. You can see Microsoft Clip Organizer. But the most ones important are Access, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft InfoPath Filler, and Microsoft InfoPath Designer. Those are not as important. They just support programs. They are not part of the actually major ones. So the major ones is Access. We have Excel. We have let's see, the ones that I'm skipping are just support. They are not major. We have Microsoft PowerPoint. We have Microsoft Publisher, and we have Microsoft Word. Okay, 5 of them. They are always packaged here. The rest about Microsoft Office Picture Manager, all these are just minor support programs, so they are not major. Don't worry about them. So now we want to load Microsoft Word from here. So we just click it twice, and we give it time. You should be able to load the program in no short time. And here is a program, right? It's called Document to Microsoft Word. So now we have 2 programs, Document 1, which we had earlier on opened, and now we have Document 2. But at any given moment, you can see just one. You cannot see both of them. If I click this one here, by the way, you can see Document 1. If I click Document 1, then Document 1 occupies the entire space on the screen. But what if I want both of them? I want to be able to see here Document 1, on the other side Document 2. That is when Restore comes to work. You use Restore, you minimize them, then you arrange both of them on the screen. Because once you minimize them, then you can fit 2 of them on the screen. So let's do it. I'll click Restore, and then I'm going to have this one arranged here, occupying half of the screen, and then I will click this other one here, then I'll click Restore. Sorry for that. Let's close this. All right. So now they are arranged here, but they are blocking each other. This Document 2. Document 1 is also here, but being blocked by this. So how do I move this one on this space here so that I can see Document 1 and 2 at the same time? I want to show you a technique that you do that, and I want you to pay very close attention. I cannot demonstrate this one on the screen, so I'm going to give you the steps on how to do that. And you follow the steps, you'll be able to do that. Now, I want you to move your mouse pointer on top here. Don't click on the document, just on top. Don't click on any of these buttons here. Just bring your mouse pointer there, as you can see mine. All right. While it's there, I want you to click and press the left mouse button and hold it down. Do not release it. All right. Ishikilie chini kwa lugha ya Kiswahili. Hold it down. Don't release it. Then as you hold it down, I want you to drag your mouse. If you're using the normal mouse pad, drag it. Okay, like move it along. Hold it down, that left mouse button. If you move it along, it's going to move that window. If you're using a mouse pad like a laptop, you hold down that button, left mouse button, then go to your touchpad, and then you try to drag. Okay, you move your finger on the touchpad. It's supposed to move that window of document 2 along. Remember, you are holding down the left mouse button. Do not release it. If you release it, it will not move. Okay, you move it somewhere there. Don't move it completely, it will change. Just make sure it does not disappear on the edge of the screen. Somewhere there, and then release your mouse button. There you are. So now you can see document 1 and document 2. If you try that and didn't work, try again. Just place your mouse pointer on the top here of the document you want to move. Hold down your left mouse button, then try to drag or move your mouse on your, you place it on the mouse pad or on the desk, just try to move it, and you notice it will move that window. You can even bring it down. You can move it along anywhere. If you're using a laptop, then you press down your left mouse button and then place your finger on the touchpad. Then try to move your finger on the touchpad. It will move your document. Right, so we position it there. Don't move it completely. If you move it completely into the screen, when you release your mouse pointer, it will go full screen. So make sure it's close to the edge, but it should not disappear into the edge of the screen. So there you are. So now you can see this screen, or rather this document 1, and you can see document 2. So because we have restored them, then we are able to arrange them, both of them on the screen, and we can access any of them. So if I had a letter here that I wanted to read and compare with another letter here, then I can see all of them on my screen. The restore button enables you to share, put several or multiple, or open multiple windows on the screen, and share the little screen as it is by putting the showing each of the window open. All right, so you can, if you compare something, you can make a comparison. So that's how you use the restore button. All right, let's close this one. I just wanted to show you how the importance of this restore or minimize buttons. When I close this one, we don't need it. Let's now get back to work. So I'm going to click this one to maximize it, and there we are. So what we're going to do now is all right, let's look at a number of features here and how we use them before we get started. First of all, see this blinking part here? We call this one cursor. Okay, it shows you where, when you start typing, where your text will start from. Right, we call it cursor. CURSOR. CURSOR, cursor. Oh, let me just type it for you. It's called cursor, right? That's the name that you give it. All right, let me delete it. Now, what you're seeing here is the Microsoft Word window. You notice there's a ruler here. We call it horizontal ruler. Okay, it helps you in positioning your text. There's another ruler down here. We call it a vertical ruler. It helps you when you are positioning your text, and it also shows you the margins. Remember, when you're typing any given document, you're not supposed to type from the edge, starting from the edge of your page. You're supposed to leave this space in between here that allows for filing, or any other, that allows for filing, or even binding if you want to bind your document. So this space here, which you don't touch, right, we call this one margin. And there are 4 types of margin. And by the way, this space here is represented by this gray part on the ruler. You see this gray part here? All right, there's another gray part here. All right, and there's another gray part here. All these are representing margins. So what we have are 4 margins. left margin and this margin here. All right, this space here represented by this gray part of the ruler. It helps you when you're filing your work so that when you punch, you don't punch your text or the text in your document. And then we have the right margin here. See this margin? If I type something, for example, the cursor will not go until it hits the edge of the page. It's going to leave a margin here. Let me just type something that really doesn't make much sense, just to show you what happens. So what is happening right now is that you notice the cursor is leaving a margin here and the cursor is leaving a margin here. We call this margin the left margin, and we call this margin here the right margin. Then again we have the top margin here, right, which is represented by this gray area on the vertical ruler. And the top margin, it allows you to leave a margin. You don't type from the edge of your page from the top, you leave a margin there. Then you have another margin down. I'm going to use this scroll bar. Notice there's a scroll bar here on my right side, and I'm going to click here to scroll upward. Okay, I'm moving my page upward, and what you notice is that when you check our vertical ruler here, you can see there's a gray part here representing the bottom margin. So even if I type something, sorry for that, I just wanted to show you something. Even if I type something and maybe come to the bottom here, what you will notice is the text cannot go beyond that, because what you have down here is the margin, and these margins where we put things like page numbering, number 1, number 2, number 3. All right, so they are normally put on the margin. So those are the margins. Now with that said, what we have here at the top, you notice there's something called file, there's something called home, there's something called insert. We call this one menus. All right, so when you hear menu, we are referring to these commands here. All right, and each command contains several commands within it. If you click insert, you get to see different commands here. If I click page layout, all what you're seeing here is going to change. Let's see, page layout. Notice it has now changed. So every one of these menus contains a number of commands that you can use to perform different tasks. All right, and then you have mailings menu, we have review menu. So anytime you hear me say or tell you go to insert menu, then you know of course you come here. If I tell you go to home menu, then of course you come here. If I tell you go to page layout menu, you come here. If I tell you go to reference menu, you come here. If I tell you go to mailings menu, you come here. Go to review menu, you come here, right? So those are the menus, and those menus contain the command that you are going to use to really work with Microsoft Word. It's that simple. It's not very complicated. All you just need is just follow through, pay attention, and sooner or later you're going to be able to open a computer, open Word document, and create anything that you want. I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, so now that I've walked you through the Word interface or the screen of Microsoft Word, by the way, let's go to file menu. You click file menu and you're going to see some other commands popping up here, including the command for saving, the command for closing, and even the command for printing. We're going to be using some of these, and I'm going to show you how they work. So I'm going to click save file again to get back here. So here we are. So now what do you do when you open Microsoft Word? The first thing that you want to do when you open this program is not you start typing. No. You do what you call page setup. And page setup basically means you determine how you want your page to look like at the end of the day before you start typing. So let's cover some of the page setup stuff. Where do you start? First of all, you need to decide your page orientation. And page orientation is basically how you want your page to look like when it is printed. Do you want it to be upright, like standing upward like a foolscap? Or do you want it to be landscape, lying across, right? So how do you do page setup? You open Word. The first place you go is page layout. And in page layout, notice we have what you call orientation. And this is where you do your page setup. Specifically, this is where you determine your page orientation. You notice this like a small button here, and we call this button, we call it what do you call it? Call it drop down button. If I click the drop down button here, you're going to see this orientation, this portrait. In this case, our current page is portrait, upright. But if I click landscape, it's going to lie across and stretch, right? Notice now it's stretching from left to right. Think about when you have a foolscap. Then you tilt it. It's upright, and then you tilt it 90 degrees to your right. It lies across. It becomes horizontal. That is what we call landscape. Now, there are documents that sometimes need to be in landscape. If you want to come up with that document and you want when you print it to be in landscape, then you pick landscape here. Think about what are some of those documents that I've seen that are normally in think a document that I've seen in landscape. There are certain manuals that are really long, that when you open them, they're like they are long, they are not upright. Like a good example is if you've ever bought an occurrence book, or if you've ever gone to some of these offices, maybe you're looking for a telephone number. We normally have those books that people they have a list of telephone numbers for different cities, or something like that. You're going to have a book that's very, very long, right? It's in landscape. It's not upright, right? So here, first of all, the first thing that you do is you determine your page orientation. In our case, we're going to be using portrait. It's actually what you use most of the times. It's going to have it, our orientation is to be portrait. So that's the first thing that you do, page orientation. The next thing that you do is you determine your margins, right? How big or small do you want these margins to be? You can increase the margins, you can make the margins smaller. So how do you set your margins? I'm going to show you how you do that. Again, you come to page layout, and then you go to margins. There's a drop down list button here. Don't just click the margins. Come to this small button here, you click it. It's going to open up a set of different margins. You have normal margin, a narrow, moderate, wide, mirrored, all that. Now, you go to custom margins. Once you click custom margins, this page setup dialog box will pop up. And this now gives you power and control. You determine how you want your margin to be. They also give you power and control to change your orientation. Remember, we can pick landscape, and notice how your orientation looks like. This is portrait. It's upright like a foolscap. Landscape, think about when you tilt your foolscap 90 degrees, okay, from upright to horizontal. This is what you get. So at this point, you can change orientation here. Let's focus on margin. That's our focus. Top margin. So top margin is, let me pick portrait here. Top margin is this margin here at the top, or rather the margin at the top here. You can increase the top margin. Currently, our margins are 1 inch top, 1 inch bottom, 1 inch right, and 1 inch left. Now, you can increase those inches. Let's say we want to set up a margin of 2 inches on the top. You use these buttons here. There's a button pointing upward here. Just click this one and increase them. Notice as I increase them, the preview here will show you the change of the margins. You notice the margin will keep on changing here on the preview. This is your preview down here. So keep on increasing it until it is 2. There it is. Then I go to the bottom margin. I want to make it 2 inches. You click again, it's now 2 inches. I go to the left margin, and we are talking about these margins here, or this margin here at the left, or this margin at the left here, and let's increase it to 2 inches. I click again, I keep on clicking until I have 2 inches. Notice now it has increased to 2 inches. And then I come to the margin on the right, and I click again, keep on clicking until I get 2 inches. There you are. Now my margins are top 2 inches, bottom 2 inches, left 2 inches, and right 2 inches. If I click OK, these margins are going to change from currently 1 inch, it will move to 2 inches somewhere here. Same case with this one. Currently it's 1 inch, it will move to 2 inches somewhere here. Same case applies with the top margin. It's currently 1 inch, it will move to 2 inches somewhere down here. Same case with the bottom margin. Let's see. Click OK. There you go. Can you now notice your margins have changed? I told you it's very simple. I mean, mastering computer, it's one of the easiest things. So that is how you change your margins. Now your margins right here are 2 inches, and from here to here they are now 2 inches, and from here all the way to here are now 2 inches, and now you have your margins 2 inches, 2 inches, right? So let's get it back to where to our originally. So you go again, go to margins, of course you go to page layout. Notice if you are on home menu, you'll not be able to see those orientations and margins. So you have to go to page layout so that you can see them. So be sure you are not in any of these other menus. You should operate from page layout if you want to set up your page. So now we go to margins, then we come down to custom margins again, and here we are. Now we want to restore our margins back to where they were originally. So they were 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, which is normally standard and okay. So we're going to use now this button down here. We are on the top margin. We use this margin button pointed downward. So I'm going to click it and reduce my margin to 1 inch, which is okay. I'll come here on the bottom. Use this button pointed downward. I will reduce this one to 1 margin. Notice as you reduce it, the preview, this one here, will show you the changes. So come to the right, and I reduce it to 2. Good. 2. Then I come to the left. Let's make it 2. Sorry, let's make it 1. All right. So there we go. We got our margins. They are 1 inch, 1 inch, which is good. Now, one more thing before we wind up on this. There's what you call gutter here, and you're probably asking what is gutter. Now, gutter is the space that you leave for binding. I want you to think that we're going to create a document and you're going to need to bind it. The margins is not enough. For binding, you need to leave a space for binding, so that when you bind from where you have bound, now we are going to count margin from there. Meaning, if I come here to gutter, and if I increase this gutter to maybe 1 inch, notice how it's indicated here. It means this is a place left for binding. And so if my left margin is 1 inch, what the system will do is, first of all, it will set a 1 inch for binding, and then add another 1 inch for left margin. All right. So you can notice this shaded part. It's for binding. It's not part of the page. All right. It's not counted as part of the page. Then from where the gutter of the binding section ends, from there, now the computer will count 1-inch margin. All right. So this is space for binding, and it allows you to bind your book or your manual, and that's what we are calling gutter. So now if I click OK, you're going to notice something. Even though we've left a 1-inch margin, when you come to the left, it's not 1 inch, it's 2 inch. Why? The first 1 inch is for binding, and then from there, system will count another now 1 inch for margin, so they become 2. But the rest of the parts is just 1 inch. You go to your right, it's 1 inch. You go at the bottom, it's 1 inch. Right. So if you intend to have your document binded, then you need to change gutter. Now we don't intend to have any binding of our document, so we don't need the gutter. You can just have 1 inch of the margin with no gutter. So let's go back to margins. Let's come back to custom margin, and let's remove this gutter. We're not going to have our document bound, or we're not going to need any binding, so we reduce gutter to 0. There you are. So this is you now. This is how your document is going to look like. Same case applies if you're having landscape orientation. The margin is the same. You do the same settings, no changes. Let's go back to portrait orientation, and then we click OK, and there you are. So those are the first things that you do when you open up a document. Once you have your margin set, and once you have your orientation set, you're good to go. You can start typing. Now we want to start now typing, and you want to start by typing something very simple. Then I'm gonna show you how to manipulate and edit and create a document that you want by changing the appearance of your document. By the way, changing the appearance of your text, which you've already typed, we call that one formatting. All right, let me type for you. Formatting, that's the word. So anytime we talk about formatting, we are changing the appearance of our document, right? And we're gonna be doing that in a while. As for now, I want to show you, or we want to get to typing. So let me delete this one. Sorry, I'm deleting it. I'm gonna explain it later on. All right. So there you go. Just a minute. All right. So here we are. So now, how do you type? Of course, you have your keyboard with you, and since I cannot demonstrate on the screen, you basically use your keyboard, right? Now, you get to take time to study that keyboard. It has keys that you can use for typing. All right, so you have to study the different keys, where they are, and how, so that you can be able to type very fast. Now, before we start typing, I'm gonna point out something. I want you to look carefully at your keyboard, and I want you to look at your left side, the left extreme side of your keyboard. And on your keyboard, you're going to see a key written ESC, especially it is at the top left corner. It's actually the starting key at the top left corner of your keyboard, and it's called ESC. That's what's written, and that basically means escape. Now below it, or next to it, moving toward you, there's another key that has some symbols that look like this. See that symbol on the screen? And another one that looks like that. right? They are there. And then below them, or the third key from the escape key, there is a key that has two arrows, one pointing to the right and one pointing to the left, and we call that one tab key. Okay, so anytime I talk about tab key, that's the key that we are referring to, and we're going to learn how that key works. Now, after that, the fourth key from the escape, you're going to see another key that is called, oftentimes it's written caps lock. Caps and then lock. All right, very close together, caps lock. Probably can see that key. Now, sometimes it may not be written caps lock, but it basically the fourth, for most keyboard, it's the fourth key from the top left from the escape key. Let's count the fourth key there, right? Then below the fourth key, what we are calling caps lock. By the way, what's the purpose of the caps lock? I want to point this one out. The caps lock helps you to turn your text either to capital letters or lowercase, uppercase, lowercase. If you press the caps lock once, if you're using a laptop, most of the times you're going to see a light or pilot light on that caps lock. And if you're using a normal keyboard, I want you to shift your focus on the right side, the top part of your right hand on your keyboard, and you're going to see several labels there. A label with A, which is capital, and in that label that has A, there's that light there, a small pilot light that normally is triggered by pressing the caps lock on and off. If you press caps lock once, under that letter A, there is a light that will probably go on. All right, you press the caps lock again once, that light goes off. Every time that light goes on, it means anything you're going to type. If I type now Eric, my name, the text is going to be in capital. All right, if you press that key again, that pilot light under that label A, you're supposed to be looking at your extreme right top of your keyboard. Press the caps lock, the light goes off, and anything I now type Eric, it's small case. The caps lock enables you to switch between uppercase and lowercase. So if I want to type my name, start with the capital letters and the rest will be lowercase. It means I'll have to press the caps lock key and make sure that light is on, and then I type E, and then I press it again so that the light goes off, and then I continue, and now I have the capital, the first letter being capital, the rest lowercase. That is how we use caps lock for. We turn we switch between uppercase and lowercase. All right, now that I've showed you and explained that, I want you to look right below the caps lock, and there's a key there called shift. Normally, this key called shift, it has an arrow that is pointing upward, and it's written shift. Sometimes written shift, sometimes not, just have an arrow pointing upward. It is the key just below caps. We are moving now toward you. All right, remember we started at the top left of your keyboard, and you are moving now down the keys toward you. So after caps lock, we have shift. Now the shift can also be used to shift between uppercase and lowercase. Let's say, for instance, if I want to type my name and the caps lock is off, meaning if I type my name, I'm going to get lowercase. If I press shift and hold it down, all right, unashikilia chini, that is holding it down without releasing it, and then I type my name holding it down, I type my name, it's going to give me uppercase. As long as initially it was lower, it's going to give me uppercase. All right, now If the caps lock is on, and initially if I type my name, it's in uppercase, but I want it in lowercase, I can press shift. I don't have to turn off the caps lock. I can leave the caps lock on, but I press shift, then I type my name. It's going to give me lowercase. All right. So if your caps lock is on and you type holding down the shift key, you're going to get a lowercase. If your caps lock is off, meaning when you type, you get lowercase. If at that moment you hold down your shift key and then you type, you're going to get uppercase, right? So that is how you can switch between the two. So let's say now my caps lock is off, okay, and anything I type is lowercase, right? And anything I type is lowercase. And let's say, for instance, that I want to type my name and I want to start with the capital letter and I don't want to use the caps lock. I can hold down shift, type the first letter E, and then release shift and then continue. Why? Because if the caps lock is off and I combine shift and start typing, the letter that I will type holding down, or whatever I type holding down shift, need to be in uppercase. So when I press shift down, type the first letter, I get an uppercase, I release my shift, then I continue. Then I have my name starting with an uppercase. All right. So that is how you use those keys. Why am I explaining this? Because we are about to start typing and I want you to be able to know how to switch from uppercase to lowercase, lowercase to uppercase. All right. Now that we've mastered that, I want you can pause this session and practice how to use and combine those keys and see what you get. Then after that, you can come back or you can just click play and resume, and then we continue. But if you've been doing it along with me and you've mastered it, then we continue from there. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to type, right? Our first typing session. Here we go. Now you go into your keyboard, look at your keyboard, and let's get started typing. What are we going to type? Something simple. We are going to say, and by the way, before we even start typing, every line when you're typing should start with a capital letter. By the way, this is a grammar, this is high school work or even primary school work. Okay, this is English, this is grammar. Now every sentence should start with a capital letter. All right, it's good to understand that, unless you are required to type a heading with all caps. But if it's a normal sentence, it should start with a capital letter. The rest should be lowercase. Every name, whether it's the name of a place or your name or name of a specific product, they should start with capital letter, right? Those are basics that you need to understand. All right, so if starting a new line, give me a capital letter. If you're writing your name, give me a capital letter. The first letter should be capital, the rest can be lowercase. If it's a name of a place or a name of a product, capital letter should start with a capital letter, right? Now that you've got that off the hook, so let's type. So what are we going to type? Simple. We are going to type, we're going to say, I am enjoying my second session learning how to use computer. I am enjoying my second session, all right, or my second lesson learning how to use a computer. Today I am learning Microsoft Word package. Let's do that. So we say the I should be capital, and then we need apostrophe there. All right, something like that. You might ask me, so where's the apostrophe? Again, look into your keyboard and I want you to look at where caps lock is. You can see caps lock, and I want you to start from the caps lock and move along that line of keys where the caps lock is. Follow the keys along that line, moving to your right, and you're going to get to a key almost close toward the right. You're going to get a key before you get to a section of keys that has what you call numerics. Before you get there, there's a subdivision in your keyboard. On your right, there's a subdivision. There are a section of keys that have keys like numlock, and there are a number of numerical keys there. And then there's another set of keys that has now the alphanumerical, the Q, the W, the R, the T, which you've been using. So I want you to look at caps lock, move along that line, and as you come close to where we have the numerical keys, there's a subdivision there, you're going to see a key that has that has quotes, and that key has two characters. It has quotes, and then it has apostrophe, right? And quotes, I mean like that. Okay, just look at the screen, something like that. Those are what we're calling quotes. So it's good to have quotes, and then below those quotes, that key has apostrophe, and that is where you get your apostrophe. If you're using like most of the common keyboard keys, it's actually the third key from your left in the set of keys in your keyboard where we have the alphabetical keys. It's the third key. We have the enter key. From the enter key, we have another key that has what we call a slash or a stroke character or a slash. Then after that, you have a key that has quotes. So that key that has quotes, it also has apostrophe. So let's type, I am enjoying my second computer lesson. So we start with capital. You can activate caps lock. You type I, then deactivate caps lock. Use that key that I've told you, the key with quotes, and then down below it has apostrophe. You just press it once, then you type MI. All right. You say I'm enjoying my second computer lesson, and my trainer is Eric. Remember, the name Eric should be in the first letter should be in capital. So I'm enjoying my second computer lesson. By the way, second computer lesson should put a comma. All right. So where do you get a comma? Go to the key that's below the shift. Sorry, below caps lock, the key called shift. Move along the keys next to shift, moving to your right, and you're going to see a key with what we call a greater than sign. Let me show you. A greater than sign looks like that. Okay, you're going to see, is that greater than sign? No, less than sign, right? Just look at your screen. I have just typed less than sign, how it looks like. You're going to see a key that has a less than sign, and then below it, it has a comma. Okay, a comma should look something like that. Below it, it has a comma. That is where you get the comma. Next to it, it's a key with a greater than sign, which looks like this. All right, and next to it, it has full stop like that. All right, and next to that, you have a key with a question mark. Right, and then next to the question mark, it has a slash. Right, so I want you to go to the one that has a question, less than sign and a comma, and I want us to use that comma. So you go to type, I am enjoying my second computer lesson, comma, by pressing that key once, comma, and my trainer is Eric, and then full stop. And then you type, this is, by the way, how do you put a full stop? I just showed you the key with the full stop. check your keyboard where we have the shift key, move along that line toward your right. You get to see a key that has this greater than sign and then a full stop. Just press the key, you get the full stop. So I'm enjoying my second computer lesson, and my trainer is Eric. This is one of the best online training I have ever taken. All right, I want you to type that. Sorry, training. This is one of the best online training I have ever taken. Full stop. Right, and then you write, I would recommend anyone who is looking to learn or master. Sorry, let me delete that. By the way, how do you delete? Now, I want you to look at your keyboard, and the second row of your keyboard from the top, it's where we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, then 0, and then there we have, let me show you, we have after 0 we have a key with hyphen, and then after that next to it it has another key with equal sign. Then after equal sign we have a key that's written backspace. It's written like this. Let me type it for you. Back, and then let me remove these ones. It's written back, and then down below it it's written space, like that. That is the key that you use to delete text moving backward. Moving backward, I mean, if you want to delete a text and the cursor is on the right side of the text, then you can use that key to delete backward. For instance, let me click here, just come here and just click. Now you notice that this text, I would recommend anyone who is on the left side and the cursor is on the right side. So if I have made a mistake on that line and I want to delete it, I am going to place the cursor on the right of what I want to delete. In this case, it is this text. Remember, I want to delete this text, right? So I'm placing the cursor here. Then I'm going to press the backspace. As the name suggests, it will delete backward. And backward, I mean it will delete moving toward the left. So I press the key and it will delete my text moving backward. All right. So let's delete, try that. We'll delete it up to that point. So let's now change and adjust the statements. So say, I would recommend, sorry, I realize my caps lock is on, so I'm going to press it to turn off the capital, or rather the uppercase, press to turn it off, and then you continue. So take your time and delete that text we just typed. Let's improve this statement. It should say, I would recommend this course, and you notice the recommend is not written as it's supposed to. So let's delete again. So it's written recommend. I would recommend this course. I'll delete it again. I would recommend this online computer training course to anyone who would love to learn computer. All right, full stop. There we are. So type that. I would recommend this online computer training course to anyone who would love to learn computer. So now there we have a paragraph of actually 3 lines, right? Take your time and type that. Then let's now go to a new paragraph. How do you go to a new paragraph? Now you check your keyboard just below backspace, the one that I've just used to delete backward, you're going to see a key called enter, and it's written this. It's actually larger than most of the keys on that keyboard. It's written enter like that. Sometimes, depending on the keyboard, they may not write it enter, but they have going to have an arrow that looks like this. Let me draw you for the arrow. Let me show you how the arrow looks like. You get to see a key with an arrow that looks like let me check. Let me pick the arrow for you. I want to show you how the arrow looks like. Allow me to show you how the arrow looks like. Okay. I'm not sure whether I'm succeeding with this, but let me see whether I can draw the arrow for you. All right, I don't seem to be succeeding here. Let me see. I want to show you how the arrow looks like. Just let me try one more. See whether I can pull this off. If I can't, I can combine several arrows to show you what I'm talking about. It's going to have an arrow that looks like, sorry, it's going to have an arrow. Just give me a minute. Let me show you how the arrow looks like so you are able to trace the arrow. It is going to have an arrow. It's a key with an arrow that looks like this. Okay, yeah, the arrow is going to look like something like that, and it's written enter. All right, it's just the key below space, backspace. Actually, the that key on your left side, not extreme left, on your left side, but not extreme left, within the keypad that has A, B, C, D, the alphabet, you count from the top left, top right, it's on your right, it's on your right, not extreme right, but within the keypad that has the alphabet, the A, B, C, D, the 1, 2, 3, 4, where we have backspace, it's on the right, the top right. You're going to have delete key, backspace, and then enter, the B key. And this enter key enables you to move your cursor downward. So let's say if your cursor is here and I press the enter key, it has, most of the keyboards have an arrow that looks like this, and it's written enter key. Sometimes just have the arrow, it's not written enter key. You press that key once, the cursor will go down to a new line, and this is the key that you use to go down to a new line. So if our cursor is here, you've just typed the first paragraph, we want to go to a new line, you just press enter key once, and then now you are on a new paragraph. So if written, I'm enjoying my second computer lesson. My trainer is Eric. This is one of the best online training I have ever taken. I would recommend this online computer training course to anyone who would love to learn computer. All right, so what do you type next? Let's type let's say today I am learning how to use Microsoft, let's say how to use Word to type documents. Okay, today I'm learning how to use Word to type documents, full stop, and then write I will really get good add this comma because I realize learning computer. Okay, the word learning, let's improve the word learning. By the way, what happens when you type something like this? You've typed the wrong thing, you've missed a certain character in your spelling. How now do I place the letter A which is missing here? Do I have to delete the whole thing using backspace? No. You can, remember, this is your, if you move your mouse pointer, you can see the cursor or this insertion pointer, and if I bring it here and then just click, it will shift the cursor and put it in between. If I bring it in here and just click in between T and R, it will put the cursor in between there. So if I want to add something that I missed here, learning, letter A is missing, I'll just bring it here and then click there. Alright, it will put the cursor there, then I type A and it's corrected. That is how you can correct some of the typings if you had typed what you didn't want to type. So let's continue. I will really get good at this because I realize learning computer is pretty easy. Okay, it's pretty easy, comma, especially if you get a good trainer or instructor and a good course like the one I am taking today. Right, there you are. See now, you're already mastering how to type. It's pretty easy. Now, you might not go with the speed with which I am typing. For you, it might take a while to type this, but don't worry. I mean, the way you master your skill is by repetition. So the more you do this, the more you get good at it. So don't get discouraged that I am moving very fast, I seem to be typing very fast. Look, I have been doing this for years. All right, so do not compare and say, oh, I'm very slow. Nope. All right, so take it at your own pace. After all, this is an online course. All right, nobody's rushing you. You take it at your own pace. Right, so type that sentence, take your time, complete it, and then from there let's push beyond that. So you can always type a little bit, you pause, you continue. Once you complete it, you come and resume. Okay, so don't try to be moving very fast, just take your time. It takes some time to learn, it takes some time to master the keyboard. In fact, the truth is, you're going to, by the way, I'm deleting some text here as I explain this. To this, as you go along, you're going to find yourself looking for, oh, where is R in the keyboard? It can even take 1 minute for you looking for R. Right? Don't worry, you will get used. The more you do this, the more you master where R is, where T is. I mean, make it fun. It's actually fun, right? So don't worry about how slow you are. And by the way, one thing I want to point out that will help you: do not use one finger to type on the keyboard. Okay, if you want to master how to type very fast, I want you to practice using both hands. All right, try to place both fingers on your keyboard and try to type using both hands. Don't use one finger. All right, like pointing on R and then looking for T and then pressing the T. No, start practicing typing using both ends. As uncomfortable as that might seem, over time you get good at it and you master typing using both ends, then you'll be able to move very fast. All right, let's finish up now our typing. We just type, today I'm learning how to use Word to type documents. I will really get good at this because I realize learning computer is pretty easy, especially if you get a good trainer or instructor and a good course like the one I am taking. All right. So let's type a third. We want to type a third paragraph. And once you type this that paragraph, we are going to wind up this session. Why? Because on the next session we are going to start doing what you call formatting. All right, so let's see what we type here. Get good at trainer or instructor and a good course like the one I am taking. All right, so I'm thinking about what we had on this paragraph as we wind up this lesson. All right, let's say learning computer is one. All right, let's delete that. I'm going to use backspace to delete backward. We learned how to do that, so I'll delete backward. Then let's write investing in your skill development to learn how to work with computer and develop computer skills by taking a computer course like this one, comma, is one of the best decisions you can ever make. All right, then you full stop and then write this: congratulations to me. Right, the word congratulations seems to have a problem. It is highlighted with red wavy line, but let's not change it because I shall be showing you how to correct those mistakes. So congratulations to me for choosing to invest in this, for choosing to invest in building, sorry, choosing to invest in developing my skills. Right, noted the word invest and congratulations for choosing. They have mistakes, but I choose to leave those mistakes deliberately because I'm going to be showing how to correct such mistakes in the next session. So congratulations for me for choosing to invest in developing my skills. And then write, I am miles away from most people who don't let's see, I am miles away from most people. Let's just write it. I am miles away from most people. You press enter to get a new line. Just press enter once, you get a new line. Remember, enter is the key that has an arrow. I just showed it's written enter. It's just below the backspace. It has an arrow that points to your left. So I am miles away from most people. And then I am proud of myself and look forward to the next session where I will be learning more on how to manipulate or format textual data. All right, there you go. So this will mark the end of this session. Like I said, don't be in a hurry. Move at your own pace. Try to type this paragraph. It has mistakes, and I've left them. You notice they are red wavy line, and they are red wavy line, and they are green wavy line. I have actually left them there deliberately, those mistakes, because in the next session you're gonna learn how to handle that. For now, I want you to build your confidence in typing. You'll be learning how to you start mastering the keyboard, the confidence to type, and then in the next lesson we're gonna dive in now, and then we're gonna start improving this. We're going to learn how to how to correct spelling and grammar mistakes, and how to even format your text to look even better. All right, so for now, take your time, give me this 4-paragraph text, no hurry, right? Give me the 4-paragraph text, and I'll see you in the next one. What you realize is really learning computer is easy. I mean, up to this moment, you've really done a good job. You're able to do what most people are not able to do, right? So you do it great. So keep moving forward, all right? Practice, come up with this a paragraph, and then we're going to meet in the next lesson where we dive in and you're going to learn how to do formatting. Until then, perfect what you've done in this lesson, and I'll see you in the next lesson.